Welcome back to Mysteries Nature. I'm your host, Esther. I have a funny story. I have a chronic insomnia health situation where I'm very nocturnal and it happened in a very unpredicted sort of way. When I was an early teen, I was so obsessed with growing older that I would stay up all night pretending to be asleep till the wee hour of the night. I'd just lay there fantasizing about my future and how I'd grow older. I would become an adult, start making money. All while this is happening, I'd have James Arthur's certain things playing as the background music in my future. Funny to say, that's not the case. My life has no background song, but I stay up for hours fantasizing about becoming an adult. And also, needless to say, I hate being an adult now. I hate it. What I didn't know was the longer I stayed each day, the longer I could stay the next day. Just like that, for over a decade now, I've had severe insomnia that I can barely fall asleep on my own. Also, I may be slurring my words a little today. I had a whole bottle of Pepsi and I'm kind of high on sugar a little. It wasn't my intention. I just have this obsession with Pepsi that comes in a wave and goes away and comes back again. And today was one of those days. I drank a whole lot of Pepsi and now I remember why I don't have cookies or pastries, because of the sugar high. So if I'm slurring my words a little, I promise I'm not on anything. I'm just a little sugar high. Now I physically can't fall asleep easily unless I'm worked out, doing chores or exercising and physically exhausted. Why am I telling you this? About a year ago or so, maybe a year or two, not so sure right now, I was having one of those days where I couldn't fall asleep on my own, so I needed to watch something that could scare me to sleep, something that I just wanted to run away from. How about we watch a scary movie, something horror on Netflix, something that would make me want to shut it off and go to bed because it's so terrifying. How about we watch maybe The Exorcist, any of The Exorcist, or we could watch say Veronica. It was just out on Netflix at the time, or any of the horror movies on Netflix. He suggested Paranormal Activities. He was like, let's watch Paranormal Activities. It's gonna scare right off to bed. And I was like, how scary it is. And he said, oh, it's about these couples who move into a new apartment and suddenly strange things happen. Things are being airlifted, things are being moved around, and they're feeling this presence, but they can't see who. And I'm like, okay, that sounds scary. I think there's about Paranormal Activity 1, 2, or 3, or maybe just 1 and 2. So we watched all 2 the first day, and the whole time yawning. It's so boring. It is so boring. It's not scary at all. It is not scary at all. And that's because I had recently just watched Scare Street and Fear Street. And Fear Street was super scary to me. I don't know if you've watched it. You should go watch it. This is not an ad, but it was really scary to me. So I started telling him, oh, you should actually watch Scare Street. It is very scary. So we switched to Scare Street. Eventually we did go back to watch the whole of Paranormal Activities because he said, oh, you're not scared by it because you barely gave it a chance. We should watch it. It's gonna scare you. And honestly, I wasn't scared because I had seen way scarier movies at that time. Why am I talking about Paranormal Activities? Am I just here to tell you about my life? No, I'm telling you about Paranormal Activities because today's episode is actually about Paranormal Activities. It's one that you barely would believe it unless maybe someone reports it and has proof and evidences that are irrefutable. It's so hard to dismiss that you start questioning everything you already know. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that there's an entire years of someone's life you can never verify. Not a stranger, not a celebrity, not a neighbor, not someone you met online or someone you met once in public, but someone you shared a home with, someone who sat at your dinner table, someone whose hand you've held, someone you believed in you. Most of us assume that intimacy is created through certainties, or that intimacy itself creates certainties. We believe the longer you know someone, the less mysterious they become. We learn their habits, their stories, their fears, their dreams, their fears, their patterns, and eventually we stop questioning who they are or why they do what they do. But every now and then, a story appears, a story pops up that challenges every assumption we have, a story that is so disturbing that it begins to raise questions about how much we know of another person's life and how much of it do we simply choose to believe or dismiss or ignore. Today's story is about a woman named Amina from Zambia, who was a wife, who is a mother, a woman who believed she was building a life with a man and was building just another ordinary life and another ordinary family, until she was told something almost impossible to comprehend, something pertaining to the man she married, the father of her children, and she ended up learning that the man she called her own, her partner, her husband, the father of her children, was a man who died many years before they ever met. This is the story of Amina and the mystery behind the man she called a husband. How much do you believe about paranormal activities? How much do you believe in ghosts? That question is what brings us to the story of Amina, a woman who claims her heart. Oh, my heart is palpitating a little. A woman who claims she met a man, fell in love, married him, and built a family with him. Years later, she was told the man she met and married died many years before they met. She traveled across countries searching for answers. She finds a family who claim their relative died years earlier. She identified photographs. She pointed to details, and she said only what she could have known from the person in question himself. And yet, despite all of that, there's no explanation, at least not one that it satisfies everyone. At the end of the case, I'll let you decide if this was a case of mistaken identity or a case of family secret hidden for years, or an elaborate deception, or a story that grew larger with every retelling, or was there something that truly exists beyond our understanding? The truth is that no publicly available evidence has ever conclusively answered those questions, and that uncertainty is exactly why this story continues to be told, because mysteries survive where uncertainties end. Across cultures and throughout history, people have reported encounters they believe cannot be explained by science alone. Stories of apparitions, premonitions, voices in empty rooms, loved ones appearing after death because they have unfinished businesses, experiences that believers see as proof of another world and skeptics see as coincidences, psychology, or misunderstanding. So perhaps the real question isn't whether Amina married a ghost. Perhaps the question is why stories like this continue to resonate across generations. What is about the unknown that fascinates us so deeply? Why do so many people believe there is something beyond what we can see? And why are others equally convinced that every mystery has a rational explanation waiting to be discovered? Now, let's get into it. A woman named Amina decided to visit Nigeria for the first time. She discussed with her children that she needed to go to Nigeria to seek out her husband's family. She arrived in Lagos. She paid for a hotel room. Prior to her visit, she had no money. She had to sell her wedding ring and also try to sell her disappeared husband's car, sell some other valuables, raised some money, paid for a ticket from Zambia to Nigeria at the cost of over $530. She arrived in Nigeria. She arrived in Lagos specifically, got herself a hotel room, stayed for a few days because by the time she arrived in Lagos, she was feeling under the weather. She was a little ill. She stayed at the hotel room for about 4 days. And on the 4th day, she decided to come out and interact with people around her. So she comes out of her room. She meets with some people around the hotel, told them why she was there and what she was on a mission for. They directed her to meet with a specific radio presenter named Oga Expensive in a radio station named Wazobia. Now, Wazobia is a radio station that's a national radio station, and the name itself means come in 3 different languages. So in Nigeria, we have basically 4 main ethnic groups. We have a whole lot of other ethnic groups. We have a whole lot of ethnic groups, more than the actual states we have. The core tribes are 4, but only 3 are nationally recognized or identified. We have the Yorubas, we have the Hausas, the Igbos, and we also have typically the Ibibio and Efik, who are part of the same tribe, just main tribe and a sub-tribe of the same tribe. So the Efiks are the main tribe, which they speak a distinct language, and we have the Bibios, who speak a relatively different language but very similar to the Efik. I come from the Ibibio myself. The Efiks were the main tribe, and the Efiks were divided into 2. The Ibibios were divided from the Efiks. So our language is pretty much similar, but just a little bit different. The Efiks are considered the more ethnic of the language, and the Ibibio language is considered the simplified version of the language. And I grew up in a very religious family, so I remember we had a Bible, and the Bible was written in Efik, but everywhere around the state we spoke Ibibio. So I had to learn Efik. I had to learn how to read in Efik, speak in Efik, and write in Efik. But funnily enough, I couldn't speak in Efik fluently, but the moment you handed me an Efik Bible, I could read it fluently. But if you needed to have a conversation with me in Efik, I would stutter a lot. So now that I'm older, I realized I just memorized the Bible verses, and if you needed me to read, I just read back whatever I memorized. But if I needed to have an actual conversation on my own, I couldn't. Sometimes would have like Bible assignments in church, and you need to present it. And I remember my mom always making me rehearse over and over and over how to present it, speaking perfect Efik, and remembering the Bible portions to, reference in my presentation. And it was always sometimes the bane of my existence, not because I hated Bible study, but because I'd forget my lines and my mom would spank me till it stuck. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about myself again. Just to drive the point home, we have majorly with the BPOs and the Efik were a little bit sore that nationally we're not recognized as one of the major ethnic groups, because we have the Hauses, but the Hauses have sub-tribes like the Fulanese and the others that are majorly identified as the Hausers, and we have the Yorubas, and they also have other sub-tribes among them. We have the Igbos that have sub-tribes among them, and we have the Efik, and there are sub-tribes among them like the Bibios. So this radio station, the name is called Wazobia, which is come in 3 different languages, majorly the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas. So the Yorubas, their word for come is wa. The Hausas, their word for come is zo, and the Igbos, their word for come is bia. So putting the 3 words together, Wazobia means come in 3 different languages, representing the 3 major nationally identified tribes, meaning a national station for the national tribes. Come to us with your problems, come to us with your cases, come to us with your opinions. So the people at this hotel told her, go to Wazobia station, ask for Oga Expensive and speak to him about your situation. He's in a better position to help you, and he's a presenter at this show. He can reach out to the whole country because this is a national station. So they directed her to the station. She gets to Oshodi. When she got to Oshodi, she realized she forgot the description. She couldn't find her way to the place, and right across her she found this man who was with some kids. They were across her, so the kids crossed over to her side of the road, and as she was planning to cross over to meet the man crossed over to her side of the road and stood by a car and was signaling to talk to her. So she went to the man asked her what was going on. She looked lost and stuff. She explained her situation to the man, why she was in the country and what she was there for, and the man again told her, go to Wazobia. She didn't even tell the man where she was going because she had forgotten where she was meant to go. She forgot the name of the station, or even how to get there, or who to look for. She forgot all of that. She told them she was told to go speak to someone, but she can't even remember where or how to get there. And the man said, how about you go to Wazobia and speak to a presenter called Expensive? And immediately he said those words, it clicked to her. Yes, that was who I was meant to go see. Thank you so much. How do I get there? The man directed her again, go meet this person. He took her to a bus, got her in the bus, told the driver where to stop her, and told her, go there, meet this person. Again, the driver dropped her off where she was supposed to go, the station. She walks in there, meets the security worker, told the security worker she was there to see Expensive. The worker told her Expensive wasn't there because he usually handles the night programs, so he resumes to work by 6 p.m. She was there in the day, so he told her Expensive wasn't there, and even told her that Expensive wasn't scheduled to work that day. So she waited and waited. Eventually it was nighttime. She didn't have money to return to the hotel because she had burned through the little reserve she had. So she spoke to the security guard again where she could spend the night and wait for this Expensive man. She spoke to a couple of others as well. Someone directed her to a building across from the station, told her, go there, there's some people there, you can sit there and pass the night there. Tomorrow come back and meet who you need to see. She goes there, sits there right across from the station, spends the night there. The next day she walked back into the station building. She meets a new security guard who was working the next day. She told the guard she was there to meet Expensive, and the guard told her that Expensive again doesn't work during the day. He works the night programs, so he was going to direct her to a different person. He called a different presenter who presents during the day. The presenter came to meet her, Amina. While she started talking to the presenter about her situation and why she was there, the presenter told her, you need to meet Expensive. He's the person better equipped to help you. So that's third person who's telling her meet Expensive. So she waited. The other presenter told her he's gonna come this evening, so wait for him. She waited. Eventually Expensive arrived. She started explaining her situation to Expensive. He told her, it's almost time for my show. I don't really have time to get the full scope of your situation, but I can't have you sleep out here again. Like you said, you slept last night across from our station. So he called someone to take her to a nearby hotel, paid for the hotel room, told her to lodge there and come back the next day. Then he can help her on the national station and reach out to the audience to help her get the information she's seeking. This other person takes her to the hotel, pays for a room, takes her to the room, shows her how to lock the door to make sure that she's secure and safe inside till the next day. Then he goes downstairs and just keeps watch to take her back to the station the next day. She's in the room, she's in her bedroom, and then she heard the TV start playing. So she thought that the other man was in the room with her. You know, the man that brought her to the hotel. She thought the man was with her, and she said, turn down the volume. A voice answered back, I've turned down the volume. And then she could still hear the TV still. Turn it down completely, but she could still hear the TV regardless. So she walked into the lounge room, realized she was alone, and she unplugged the TV from the power socket. At this point, she's thinking, okay, maybe I'm hallucinating. I'm thinking someone is with me. Hence why I could still hear the TV, because the volume was never turned down. Maybe I'm just hearing voices. So she unplugged it from the power socket, went back to her room, and she checked her phone. It was at 15 or 16 power percentage. She puts it next to her, lays on the bed, and she's just meditating. As she's meditating, her husband, the man she's in Nigeria to learn about, appears to her in some sort of trance or dream-like situation. They met in that dream in the exact setting they met about 16 years earlier in a bus, and he tells her, go to Ikenga Okidi, there you'll find my people. So they got into the vehicle. They were in the vehicle. They traveled to the set town in this trance dream. In this dream, the Expensive reporter is with them. As they arrived there, she was like saying to this her husband in the dream, where next? And he said, go to Mountain of Fire Church and ask for Pastor Timothy. They walked to the church. Once they got there and were about to ask for Pastor Timothy, they turned to ask him, who exactly is this Pastor Timothy and who should we ask about him? But he was nowhere to be found. He had disappeared, and she woke from the trance dream. She picked up her phone, checked the time, and that's when she noticed her battery was from 15-16% to now 100% fully charged. Her charger wasn't even in the room with her, it was still in the lounge room of the hotel. So she called the man who brought her to the hotel to come to her room. She opened the door to him and was like, look, my charger's over there. I never powered my phone. It was 15-16% earlier and now it's 100. I never charged it. Were you in here? The man asked her, did you let anyone in the room? Was your door open? Maybe someone plugged it for you? She said, no. You showed me how to lock the door before you left and I made sure the door was locked. No one other than myself was in here. So the man told her, just take it as a miracle. So she called Expensive over the phone and told him what just happened. And Expensive was like, don't think too much about it. Just keep meditating. Maybe he will tell you more about how to find his people. I'll see you tomorrow. The next day she shows up at the station. She's put on air. People tune into the show. They're leaving comments. They're phoning into the show and they start to ask her questions. And that's when she relates everything. How she met him, how their lives were up until the moment she arrived in Nigeria to seek out his family. I'm so out of breath. According to Amina, her anonymity was attempted to be concealed. I'm saying attempted because better part of the show, the documentation, and the footage of the whole show of her explaining her situation, her face was blurred. But at some point, they forgot to blur her face in a couple of scenes, leaking her entire identity, so she's technically doxxed. Let's just keep it at Amina. I don't want to give out too much information about her because given that her face was blurred for the better part of the footage, it means they wanted to keep her identity anonymous. So if you want to know more about her, you can go do your own research. She's asked, how did you meet him? Where did you meet him? Tell us the full story. So she recounts that she met her husband in 2009. She was 17 at the time. She was in a bus to go visit her aunt. She sat next to this man who introduced himself as Emeka Sunday. He started talking to her, telling her he liked her and stuff like that. He asked for her number. So she asked him to give her his number instead. He asked for her phone to type in his number into her phone. He takes her phone and briefly gives it back to her. She thought, okay, he's given me his number. We don't know if she was intending to call him or never, but when she eventually checked her phone, she never saw a new number. She never saw any number that she didn't recognize, meaning she didn't get his number. He never put his number in her phone. But later that day, he called her and was like, remember me? I'm the guy from the bus who gave you his number, but you never gave me your number. I checked my phone, I couldn't find her number. When did you give me a number? Because I didn't see it. And how did you get my number? Because I never called you for you to get my number, because you never gave me your number. And he said, well, when I took your phone to give you my number, I took your number instead, hence why I'm able to call you. She didn't think too much of it, so she just let it go. And he started telling her, I'd like to marry you. You look like a very respectable girl and I'd like to marry you. She said, oh, if that's your intentions towards me, you need to meet my family and tell them your intentions towards me. They will tell you how to marry me. Again, she was 17 at the time and she said he was her first boyfriend, her first husband, her first everything. He comes to visit her family. Her male cousin was there, her father was there, and they spoke to him. They asked him questions about himself and he gave them some answers. And at the end of that meeting, father was like, wow, you're like the son I never had, because he was very good, he was very kind, generous, and very, very peaceful, very positive. So her family grew to love him really quickly. They arranged for the marriage. She said he told her family he didn't have any of his family in Zambia and he wasn't able to show up for the marriage himself if the family could provide a stand-in for him. According to her, in their tradition, it's okay for any of the couple to have a stand-in. She could decide, I don't want to be present at my own wedding, and she would choose a stand-in to stand in for her on her wedding day, or he could choose a stand-in to stand in for him on their wedding day. So he said he wanted a stand-in. They provided a stand-in to stand in for him on the wedding day, but he was there at the venue, just in the house, never came out, never met the crowd, never showed up for the wedding, and someone else stood in for him on the wedding day. They got married. After the wedding, her father provided them with a plot of land as a wedding gift, said you can build your house on it. Now Emeka built a house, a beautiful house on the plot of land. On the outskirts of the building, he built a shop where he gave her money to stock up the place with provision and some hair extensions because she was a stylist. So she sold food, provisions like groceries, and also hair extensions for people who wanted to make their hair or style their hair. Now, according to her, on the first day he came to meet her family, he drove over in a white vehicle, like a salon car. It was a non-registered car, a brand new car. According to her, after he met the family, they wanted his number and everything, and he said he didn't have a number at the time because his old number, something happened to it, he got a new phone. So her father went to get a new number registered in the father's name and handed it to Emeka. The land and everything was in the father's name. Any major purchases were done using the father's name, so his name was never on any documents or anything. He never had bank account or anything like that that required his actual government's name to be filled in. And also, he never had like a wallet. According to her, he never had a wallet, he never had a bank account, he never had a pile of money in the house. But anytime they needed to pay for anything or needed money for anything, he would just walk into their room and come out with a bundle of money and hand it to her to solve the problem. But she never saw a pile of cash in the house. She never saw money lying around. She never saw him with a wallet or a bank account, and he never had a job. So she was asked, did you ever question him where he got all the money from? Saying that he never had a bank account, he never had any bank cards, he never had a wallet even to store money, he never had a pile of cash in the house, he never had a job or a business or anything, but he always had money to solve her problem. All the time he always had money. She said no, she never questioned where the money came from. I think maybe to her, she must have had this feeling of maybe it's an inheritance, the money just keeps getting sent to him, or we don't know, maybe the typical African Nigerian prince type of situation. We don't know. I don't want to speculate, but according to her, she never saw money around, never had a job to earn money, but he always had money. So they were happy because, trust me, one thing that can ruin a relationship is lack of money. Even Davido sang, love is sweet, but when money enters, love is sweeter. A year after their marriage, she gets pregnant and she gives birth to a son born with a birthmark. The son was born with a birthmark on his leg, and it looked like a burn scar. Like if you were burned by hot water or hot fluid and you had a scar. Yes, the son was born with that as a birthmark. And peculiarly, Emeka had a burn mark on his foot that he had when he was younger. He was burned by a hot water or hot fluid, and he had that burn mark as a scar, and their son was born with the same mark as a birthmark on his leg as well. Later, they had a daughter who was also born with the same mark as a birthmark, but on her belly. She had the exact same burn as a birthmark. The information was given in fragments, and I had to piece it together, so I can't definitively say if they had 4 kids or 2 kids, but I heard there's a son, a daughter, and a twin, or maybe the son and the daughter were born as twins, because in her story she doesn't really mention them as 4 different kids, but as 2 different kids, but not exactly clarified if there were 2 other kids and 2 younger kids who were twins. So I'm just going to say maybe the son and the daughter were twins, or they had younger kids who were twins. And why I'm confused about that is because she said when they gave birth to their twins, they had a naming ceremony, and after that the father kept saying something about the husband taking them to meet his family. But also in the same breath, she also said around that time her 2 older kids took a picture with the son, with the husband, and there was a scenario around the picture. So I'm just going to stick to the first 2 kids whom she really talks about more. They have these 2 kids. She's running her business. Everything is fine. Everything is dandy and good. 2020 comes around. Now, during the kids' naming ceremony, she said the husband went big. They killed a cow. They had a big ceremony and people gathered and people were celebrating with them. They took lots of pictures. but he wasn't there to take any pictures with the babies or with her or with any family members. She never took any pictures with him. He never took any pictures with her ever. He never took any pictures with their children ever. You know how parents just get obsessed over their growing kids and always take pictures of themselves with the babies, making videos with the babies, documenting every growth. He never took pictures of any of them with or without himself in the frame, and he would never let anyone take pictures with him. Surprisingly, he never wanted to be in a crowd of people more than 3. 2 people, him and one other person, was acceptable. Him and 2 other people were acceptable, but anything more than that, he never wanted to be in that group or part of that gathering. And he had a phone, again, with the number from the father-in-law, but his phone was empty, literally empty. No pictures, no contacts. The only contacts he had were his wife's, his father-in-law, and some of her family members. That's it. So in 2020, her father started to ask him questions about his side of the family. How come we've never heard from them? How come we've never seen them, or you even talk about them? Can we go visit them? You need to take us to go visit your family, or at least take my daughter and your children to go see their paternal side of the family. And he told the father-in-law he was going to do it that year. But then COVID hit, it was quarantine, and surprisingly, it's so shocking how recent this is. They met in 2009. Now it's 2020. With the quarantine and everything, he told Amina's father that he was going to take Amina and the children to go see his family right after the quarantine, but right now he can't do anything about it because the COVID lockdown. And her father stopped bringing it up because, again, COVID lockdown, there was nothing he could do, so the father dropped it. Amina's father had forgotten about the situation. Life is dandy, everything's good. On one fateful day in 2021, it was the kids' naming ceremony anniversary day. The daughter and the son, they're early teenagers at this point, they agreed to among each other that we've never ever taken an image or any sort of documentation with our dad, video, picture, nothing. Let's go take a picture with him today, secretly. So the son and the daughter, they sneaked up to where he was without his knowledge. They held up their phone, posed together sneakily, took a picture. And when they looked, their bloods ran dry. Right there in the photo were the son, the daughter, alone. No dad anywhere in the photo. And he was supposed to be behind them because, you know, the son and the daughter, they're standing together. You know, it's like when you take a secret picture of someone. 2 of you stand together and this other person's supposed to be in the background, but it was empty. Dad wasn't in the photo. They're shocked. They didn't know what to do, so they held on to this photo, trying to find a rational explanation as to what just happened. They're children. They had no explanation. They didn't even know how to start processing this. So they're waiting for days, thinking, do we say something or do we not say anything? So after some days, they decided to go to their mother and they told mom, actually we did something. Remember how we've never had a picture of dad with us or ever taken any photo with him, even on special occasions like our birthday or school events or anything? No one's ever taken pictures with him? Yeah, we tried to take a picture with him the other day. We posed, serious, held a camera up, and we took a picture. And right there was no daddy. Look, here's the photo. This is us. Daddy was supposed to be here. He was here, but he's not. And the mom looked at the picture and said, why were you guys trying to take pictures of your dad? You already know he doesn't want to take pictures. You know he doesn't like pictures. Why were you trying to take pictures of him? And she brushed it off. Because to her, she's thinking, these are children. Maybe they thought, so she disregarded it. Personal opinion, I think maybe she thought, maybe they tried to get him in the frame, but they never got him in the frame, but thought they did. So they took the photo and were shocked to not see him in the frame because they never had him in the frame to begin with. So I'm thinking maybe that's what she thought. She just brushed it off and never paid attention to it and just told them not to bother him. After some time, one morning, school day, kids get ready for school. He gets ready. He's about to drop them off at school like he does every other day. He usually drives them to school, but on this day, he said he was going to walk with them. So he walked them to school and he wasn't back yet. This man from nowhere, a stranger she's never met before, came to her place of business, her store that's right in front of their house, remember? He walked up to her, said hello, greeted her, and was like, "I'd like to speak to your husband." And she said, "Oh, my husband's not home. He went to drop off our kids. Can you wait for him?" "Why do you need to see my husband?" He said, "It's important." "Can I wait?" Sure. There was no space in her shop for him to wait, so she opened the gate for him to get into the compound and sat beside the shop from the inside of the compound. So he gets in with his bicycle. She gives him a chair. He sits, and after he sits, he says, "Can I speak to your father? Can you call your father to come?" Okay. She phones her father. "Can you come? This is the strange man who wants to talk to you." The father comes, meets with the daughter. The daughter says, "Oh, he actually came to see my husband. When I told him my husband's not home, he wants to speak with you instead." The father went to the man. The man took her father aside and was like, "You know the man your daughter is married to? Actually, he doesn't exist. He died a few years ago, a long time ago. He's a ghost." The father is shocked. Brings the man over to the daughter. The father and the strange man, they sit in one chair. Father tells the daughter to sit. The daughter pulls out a chair and sits opposite them. And the father tells the man to repeat himself in front of the daughter. And the man said, "Your husband is a ghost. He died many years ago." She's shocked. She's like, "Explain yourself. What do you mean? You're married to a dead man who doesn't exist." She's shocked. She tries to pry more answers from him, but he's not giving her anything. So she starts to scream, and neighbors start to come out. She's frantic, and she turns around to ask the neighbors, "Ask him to repeat what he just told me." The stranger man was gone. He had disappeared. His bicycle he had wheeled into the compound was gone as well. Her father was so shocked. I'm sure he's probably spiraling in his mind. The dad fell physically ill. He had to be rushed to the hospital. He was admitted for 2 weeks, after which he was released. By the time he was released, remembers the same neighbor that Amina had screamed out to come help her to figure out what was going on? The same neighbors decided to ostracize her. Now, she said she lived in a small community where everyone knew everyone, and if you have a business, your core customers are your neighbors. If they don't patronize you, you're out of business. If they patronize you, you thrive. Suddenly, after neighbors figured this out, learned about this from that day, she was so ostracized. No one would patronize her. Her business failed. No one even talked to her. Her kids started to be ignored and avoided in school. They started to be bullied over the situation. Kids were suffering mentally. She was suffering mentally. She decided, "I need to leave this country completely," because at this time, the story is making waves. It was like a new phenomenon. It was a strange case, and they couldn't live with it. So she starts to sell things to skip country, practically move to a different country where no one knew of her situation. First thing, she wanted to sell the husband's car. She listed it online for sale. Someone came to buy it, was interested in it. She asked for 120 Zambian dasli. The person agreed. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. This whole time I've been saying Zambian. So sorry. I meant to say Gambian. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening with me today. I didn't mean to do this case at its justice. She is a Gambian woman, not Zambian. She requested for Gambian dasli, 120 Gambian dasli. The buyer agreed to pay the amount, paid her 100,000 dasli, and was going to balance her the 20k and get the car. But the minute the buyer left, he never came back, and he never completed the money and got the car. She couldn't explain why the person backed out and even abandoned the advance payment he had paid. She sold her ring, she sold a couple of other things, and she was thinking of skipping town, but her children told her she should go to Nigeria and find out the truth about their father. And her son told her the father appeared to him in a dream and told him he has a junior brother named Ozo, who is a chemist and owns a chemist shop in Onitsha. He's from Ikenga, Okidi. She decided, okay, I'm gonna go find his people so my kids and I can have answers. And that's how she arrived in Lagos, and that's how she met Expensive and told the story. People were tuning into the show, people were leaving comments and calling, and some people were saying that they don't believe it. It sounds like an elaborate lie, that she's just here fishing for money. She said she's not looking for money. She's never been rich. She's always lived a comfortable life. In fact, they had their own home, they had a car, she had a business that was thriving. They never lacked for money. So why would she come now to look for money when they had a comfortable life? That all they want is answers. And he just upped and left when they disappeared. She doesn't even know where he went or if he's actually a real person, since all these questions are coming up now about his existence. So she's not here for money, that even if her in-laws were the poorest people in Nigeria, she wouldn't care. She's lived with hardship before she even met her husband. She just wants to know where he belongs and for her children to know where they originally come from. The presenter of the show in the station, they reached out to Ogidi councilmen, the representatives, and the president of the Ogidi in Lagos Council answered the contact, and they asked to speak with Amina. Sat with them and they interrogated her for more than 4 hours. They asked her probing questions, they asked her invasive questions, they asked her sneaky questions, trying to find any shred of lie or inconsistency, but her story remained the same. They had over 3 lawyers there who kept questioning every information, every fact she presented, just to look for a shred of lie. They couldn't find anything. Her stories, no matter how many times she recounted it, remained the same. They went to their farms where they have people from Okidi, and they posted about this information. People should help them find this family of Emeka Sunday. Emeka's family ended up reaching out to the council. They said, actually the story is very similar to our brother. His name was Emeka. His surname is on Sunday. We have a brother whose name is Sunday, but he is familiarly called Ozo. That's his nickname among everyone. And he's a chemist. He owns a shop in Onitsha. But our brother died in 1999. So how can he be this woman's husband? Yes, the story, everything sounds familiar. His name was Emeka. He has a brother named Sunday, who is also known as Ozo, who has a chemist's shop because he's a chemist. How could it be? He died more than 2 decades ago. The council requested for photos of Emeka for her to identify him. That's one way to begin, to know if she even knows the person she's talking about. So the family sent the councilmen a group of 6 pictures, and in this 6 pictures was 1 picture of Emeka. The others were other people, family members and other people. They sent them these 6 pictures, soft copy. The councilmen decided to print it out so it's easier to present to her. They called her back to interview her, and they put these 6 pictures to her. Pick out who is Emeka, the man you married. Pick out Emeka from the group of photos. So she picked out 4 pictures. Excluding them, these 4 are definitely not Emeka. She puts it aside. Now she has 2 pictures. One of the picture was Emeka's cousin. Another was this man known as Emeka, who died in 1999. They told her, you have 2 pictures left. Pick the particular one that's the man who married you. She looked at both photos and she picked out Emeka's photo. This one. This is the man who married me. Emeka's immediate younger brother was there, so the councilman asked him, is that Emeka? And he confirmed, yes, that's Emeka, my brother who died in 1999. She was brought back to the station, put on air again. Councilmen were asked, hence why we know of their investigative process. And Emeka's brother was asked to tell us about Emeka. This is the immediate brother. He said, Emeka was the oldest. After him was me. And then we have a younger brother whose name is Sunday. Sunday was Emeka's favorite. Emeka trained him, paid for his training to go be a chemist, and then gave him money to start his chemist shop. Hence why he used the name Emeka Sunday in Gambia, and also how he knew his nickname Ozo in his profession or business. And he also said that Emeka moved from their state in Anambra State to Lagos. He started a car spare part business. The business was doing really well. He bought a land. He started to build a house, and the house was almost completed. Around the time he died, he had just bought a white salon car unregistered. He never got to register it yet. And he had told the younger brother, the immediate one who was speaking at the station, that the minute he completed his house, 2000, he was going to get married. The woman he was seeing that he wanted to get married to once his house was finished had a twin. She had a twin. She was a twin. Now Emeka and his wife in Gambia gave birth to twins. Are you seeing these similarities? He arrived in Gambia, went by the name Emeka Sunday. Sunday not being his surname but his favorite younger brother's name. Had a white salon car, unregistered, which is the same car he had before his death in Lagos. White salon car, exact brand, exact everything, unregistered. Was intending to marry a wife who was a twin. He was building a house that was almost completed. He built a house in Gambia that was completed. He had a flourishing business in Lagos and never lacked for money. He had endless supply of money in Gambia. The brother was asked, how did Emeka die? The brother said, Emeka was out with his brand new car that he never got to register, and he accidentally drove into a trailer and he died on the spot. The public, after hearing all of these from all these people and all the information, they concluded that the reason he reappeared was because he had unfinished business on earth in Nigeria. He reappeared in Nigeria trying to finish these businesses, like finishing the house, getting married to his partner he was seeing, enjoying his car and his business that he worked hard for. But because he never got to do those things, his soul never left earth, so he remained in Nigeria. But he must have run into someone who recognized him, so he relocated to Gambia, far away where no one knew him. Met Amina, probably the first woman he set his eyes on there, married her, and on the day he went to drop the kids at work with no car and just disappeared, that stranger who came to the wife to speak to her and her father, who initially wanted to speak to Emeka, must have seen him, recognized him, maybe because he's a Nigerian who knew him previously, or he is a Gambian who's got spiritual powers and can see supernatural beings, and recognized that he was a supernatural being. And when Emeka realized that someone knew his true identity, he chose that day to leave without the car, dropped the kids off, and never came back. And because he never had a pile of money, he never had a bank account, he never had a money reserve, once he left and the wife's business failed because people ostracized them, the money ran out as well, and she had to start selling things to take care of the children. And that, my people, is the story in a nutshell. What do you think of it? Do you really think that was Emeka himself, or a case of misidentity, or do you think that it's an actual case that should be taken seriously? Do you believe in ghost stories? To be honest, there were a couple of comments to this case where people said, oh, this is actually very common in Zambia. There were lots of people who kept bringing it up. This is very common in Zambia. This is very common in Zambia. Hence why my brain actually froze when I started this case, and I subconsciously said Zambia at the beginning of this episode. But Amina is not from Zambia. She's from Gambia. Most of the comments kept saying this is actually very famous in Zambia. There was a case I actually read about where a lady said she also met a man who was very attractive, very respectful. They shared contacts and he would visit her a lot. He would come to her house. She'd cook food. They'd enjoy. They'd have sexual relations. He never took pictures with her. Again, he never went anywhere in public with her. She met him one evening, barely bright and visible, and every time she would ask to visit him, he would say no. He'd give her excuses. Oh, I'm not home. Oh, I'm busy right now. Oh, can we do it during this time? And she never met him. Eventually, she felt like, okay, he's a very unserious partner. I don't want to be with someone like this. So she broke up with him and told him she was done. She started seeing someone else, but at nights she would feel someone touching her and having, relations with her. And he felt very familiar. He felt like this partner that she broke up with, when she'd wake up, he wouldn't be there. And it would seem like it's a wet dream, but she could physically see signs that it wasn't a wet dream. She went online, she posted her situation. Hey, I've been having this paranormal activities. I had this ex-boyfriend. This is how we met, and this is how we ended things, and this is what I've been experiencing. The story traveled around. People who knew this ex-boyfriend, even family members, reached out to her and said he was dead. How could she have met him? And she said, oh, I know who I met. This is the name he gave me. Turns out he gave her his real name, but she had no photos of him or anything. The family believed her, fortunately, and people suggested she should do some spiritual cleansing. She should pray and stuff like that, and she did. And eventually she said she no longer felt his presence or anything. So there are people who actually share stories like this of their interactions or your experiences with paranormal or supernatural beings. What do you think? Do you think it's real or it's a myth? Do you think something we should believe in, or do you think it's baseless and superstitious? This is where we'll leave the story today, not with answers, not with proof, and not with certainty. Because certainty is the one thing that makes cases like this believable or easy to understand or accept. Amina believed she knew the man she married. She believed he's real. The people she shared the story with believe she's saying the truth. They believe it happened, but they also believed in his demise. The people who heard her story till today, including myself, are left trying to understand how possible this could be. Some people saw what they believe as evidence of supernatural or evidence of her conviction over the situation. Others saw coincidence, mistaken identity, or a story that changed over time. And perhaps that's why the mystery continues to endure. Because personally, I don't even know where I stand. I know for sure I don't believe in ghost stories. I don't believe in life after death. I will also not claim to know everything, because one thing I've grown to know is what you believe works for you. Superstitions don't work for you unless you make them a belief. Magic doesn't work for you unless you make it a belief. Witchcraft doesn't work for you unless you make it a belief. Luck doesn't work for you unless you believe in luck. So I guess that's where the mystery continues, because not everyone agrees on what happened. Have you ever experienced something like that yourself? An encounter that you still cannot explain till today? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comment below. Please do let me know if there was any information in this case that was inaccurate or miscommunicated, and please do let me know if there was any part of the case that was not mentioned. Please let me know if there was any part of this case that was inaccurate. Follow the podcast, share with someone who loves mystery, true crime, folklore, and unexplained stories. Until next time, keep an open mind, stay safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.